Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about an important concept in the study of forgetting, the difference between free recall and prompted recall. These are two ways psychologists study memory, especially when trying to understand why we forget things. So let's start with free recall. Free recall is when you try to remember information without any cues or hints. It's like trying to remember everything you studied for a test without looking at your notes. For example, if I asked you to list all the fruits you learned in class last week and you just start writing down whatever comes to your mind, that's free recall. It's often harder because your brain has to actively search for the information. Free recall is important in psychology because it shows how well information is stored and organized in long-term memory. The more meaningful or connected the information is, the easier it is to retrieve during free recall. On the other hand, prompted recall, also called cued recall, happens when you are given hints or prompts to help you remember. For example, if I say, remember the fruits we learned in class, and think of something yellow, you might recall, oh, a banana. The prompt narrows your search and helps your memory retrieve that information. So prompted recall is generally easier than free recall because our brains respond well to associations and triggers. Psychologists use this method to see how memory can be retrieved under specific conditions and to understand what types of cues help or hinder memory. So how does this relate to forgetting? Forgetting can happen at different stages: encoding, storage, or retrieval. Sometimes we can't freely recall something because we didn't encode it, or it isn't easily accessible. But when given a prompt, we might suddenly remember it. This tells us that forgetting doesn't always mean the memory is gone. It just may be temporarily inaccessible. For example, you might struggle to freely recall the name of your third grade teacher, but if someone says, your third grade teacher's first name started with an M, suddenly you might remember it. That prompt is recall at work. So, in summary, the defining difference between free recall and prompted recall is whether or not you are given cues to help you remember. Free recall is entirely independent, requiring you to pull memories from storage on your own, while prompted recall uses cues to guide your retrieval. Understanding this difference helps psychologists explore how memory works and why we sometimes forget things, even when they are still stored in our brains. And that's just the main difference between the two. Thank you.